Okay, the way I am, the kind of person I am, like, yeah, I don't care about what people think, but to a certain extent, it's like certain things keep you from doing and saying certain things because it's like you don't. It's not you putting on the front, but you have to always be mindful as a person of God, that, especially if you're a speaker, that people are watching you, and most importantly, more than what people think, God is watching you. So we can all slip up, but just remember that you're going to be judged, especially if God is putting you to the forefront as a leader. It's a guy or whatever on YouTube, and he has a channel, and I thought he was talking about me or whatever on this channel. It's like, it's certain people, I know, like, people watch my page, and a lot of people, and you guys can't tell because they mess with the views and stuff like that. But it's like, if I know certain people watching my channel and they say something, I watch them, and they say something slick and I feel like it's directed at me, I'm gonna address it or whatever, especially if it sounds closely like it's directed at me. But the guy, and I addressed this on a video I did, what was it, yesterday or something? I didn't know that he wasn't talking about me. But as far as like tarot readers, let me just say this. Just as tarot readers can read cards, and I've heard from another tarot reader I go to that people are remote viewing without my permission or whatever, but that's on you, that's your karma, we'll just say that. But especially if you're doing it with negative intent or whatever. But I have nothing to hide, so I'm not really tripping about that. That's your karma. But if I say something out of term, I'm not too big to be like, oh, well, my bad, I didn't mean to say that. Especially if it's a targeted individual, because it's targeted individuals, you have so many people coming against you, people in your family, isolated, all the other stuff. So you don't need another spiritual truth. Oh no, I'm okay. I'm making a video. You don't need another spiritual person coming at you or whatever, and making you feel bad. It was one time or whatever when you're casted out and everybody turn their back on you, when people are doing secret work on you in the back, we'll just say that, and it's like it's hard, especially if they're doing certain things like to try to tamper with your mind. Like I heard, it's just stuff you just wouldn't believe. You don't need anybody else to come at you wrong and stuff like that. So you never know who might have a word for you that can actually help you and uplift you. Because it was like last week I was feeling real low, and it was a reader who did a reading, and it's just like it just really motivated me. It wasn't even under my sign. She just did a reading, and it's like it really uplifted me, and I felt so much better. Because sometimes you need that reminder when you just can't pump yourself back up, and that's an angel speaking through certain people to help you. But I just want to say this: you have to realize when you're a targeted individual, especially as a chosen person of God, you have to go through it. You have to. Because God is going to lift you back up. If you're a real true person of God that's been isolated, He's going to lift you up in front of your enemies or whatever. You just have to go through it to be strong. You have to go through it so you can see the truth of people. That's why you go through your isolation, because if God blesses you when those people are still around and they didn't reveal themselves to you, you had the wrong people around you. That's why I always say the people that turn their back on you and left you for dead, you can't let them back in, because they'll do it again. If nobody was there at you, if nobody was there for you at your lowest, and they kicked you when you were down, and they thought you weren't gonna get back up, why would you let them back in? Why would you forgive them? And we have to go through that impasse on an extreme level, because we have a God-like heart, and we constantly forgive people, and we constantly forgive people, and we let the wrong people back in to a certain degree. But sometimes people can cross the line, and that's why I say if people really knew the real truth of what certain people were doing in the background, they wouldn't even feel bad. It would anger you in a certain way, and you would never want to talk to those people again. But the fact that you don't know, it left you in a confused state. But when it's revealed to you, you're like, you get repulsed by people. Do y'all really think that people on social media seeing you talk about what you're going through, all this and that, meaning you're isolated, gangstalked, whatever, and none of your family is saying anything, especially your parents, do you think that speaks more on your character, or it speaks more on them? If you had a child and they were going through that, and would you sit back and watch them in silence and not say anything? And I'm not going to go into no further details on that. God don't be looking at the situation as if, oh, they're just mad. No, it's a lot of people are being judged or whatever, and they're being tested on their character, on their integrity, on their hearts. So you're being tested on your strength. Remember, God went through the same thing when He was down here. On a whole nother level. And this was the creator, so you can imagine how he felt. He was like, I created these people, and they're gonna cast me out and say I'm not who I am because I don't have the fancy robes and stuff like that. So that's all I wanted to say. Whoever needs to hear that, you can't. If your enemy's goal is to make you sad, you can't feel sad. That's another thing. When people are different and introverted, your gang stalkers will try to do whatever they know that bothers you. Like, for example, if they know they're talking crap and I'm gonna beat you up or I'm gonna do this, you ain't that. If they know that's gonna get under your skin, they're gonna constantly keep doing it, and it's taking you off your element and making you doubt yourself because you're going back and forth with them. Like, for example, a psychic a while back, another psychic, remember I'm psychic too, and two of the psychic was saying, people were saying that I'm something wrong with me because I don't want to date. Like, people don't approach me. No, I don't want just any old body around me. God delivered me from that life. I just don't. When God uplifts you and changes you, you don't really want the same people around you anymore. It's different if you kind of know what I mean. You can't. I don't know. Maybe that bothers guys on a whole nother level because women, it's like when you're celibate and you're a woman, it's kind of like it lifts your confidence up, especially if you have a strong relationship with God. It's like when you live in righteous and God changed you and you live in right, it's kind of like it gives you a confidence because you know you're right with God and you know God is standing with you. With guys who are introverted and well, I don't know, maybe it'll bother some women, it don't bother me. With guys who are introverted, they in their celibate, guys like to throw shots. Oh, this dude he gay, he don't like girls and stuff like that because it's like an ego thing. But that don't seem like a trick to you, like a trap. Just think about it. If your enemies, I'm just giving you an example. If your enemies are trying to get in your house and it's bolted up, your house bolted up with locks, nobody can get in, nobody can see in the door. No, they can only see in the door, but they can't get in. They don't know the code. The only way they can get in is if you let them in. So if you're not doing it, then and they're trying to get at you in there to kill you, wouldn't it make sense for them to be like, oh, you scared to come outside because I'm gonna knock you out? So you can try to prove that you not scared or something, and you're gonna let them in. It's like that's same way as if, oh, he in there by himself or whatever. He can't get no girls. No, you don't want a certain caliber of girls, and then you let the wrong person in to prove to your enemies that you're not what they say. But come on, that's what they did. And I just thought about this too. When people try to mess with the views, when God has called you to do something to change you, nobody says nothing. Everybody isolates you, and they treat you even worse than when you were lost. It's because God called you and revealed to you who you are, and they're trying to make you doubt what God says. Those are demons or whatever. It's like that's what Satan did to God. You're not the Messiah. You're not this, you're not that. And it's not up to us to prove to anybody. I got to keep remembering that. It's not up to us to, hey, I am an earth angel. I am a It's like, no, your light will shine within. If you're a godly person, it will show. If you're an evil person, it shows. You have that look up on you. You have when you're a godly person, it shows, and when you're an evil person, you get marked. And true people alike can see that mark on you. So when you're a target individual, you're called to be separate. You're called to be different. And they will try to gaslight you and make it seem like something is wrong with you because you're not a part of the crowd. You're different and you stand out. That's why you don't want to be around certain people and entertain certain people. Yes, sometimes it can get lonely, but you have to get stronger on your own. You have to keep up with reversals. I always tell people that, yeah, it's good to pray and stuff like that, but if people are physically doing stuff or spiritually doing stuff to you, you got to get spiritual as well. Not never like nothing back or nothing. I don't even dabble in stuff like that. But if they're putting stuff on you, then you have to reverse it and take it off. You have to look it up. Look up reversal chance. Look up stuff to remove it or whatever. It's easy. And you have to know that. Otherwise, you're just going to be saying, oh, that's witchcraft and blah, blah, blah. And then the situation is going to get any better. I feel a lot better. I don't feel as sluggish. I've been putting on my makeup, getting cute lately, and I'm just not, it's not working anymore because it's time for return to center. It's time for everything these people put out to go back. But if you know, one thing I always try to remember, when you vent online or whatever, you always got to remember, yes, you're venting and you're reaching certain people and certain people are hearing it. But I forget that your enemies are listening too. Or whatever, not just you when you addressing the gang stalkers, but people that are working against you. They're listening to try to hear if the magic is, even though that's weird to you, You got to remember that you have demons against you as a chosen one. So instead of like questioning why are they doing it, they're doing it because they're devils, and you just got to keep in your mind and stick with that. We don't need to try to figure them out or nothing. So that's just something to think about. I just hope that message helps somebody. That's it.